Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to talk about 15 secret motorcycle rules no one knows about. 15. The Invisible Zone Rule. Here's a brutal truth most new riders learn the hard way. Just because you see the car doesn't mean the driver sees you. Every motorcycle rider exists in a zone that's practically invisible to the average driver. A blind spot that isn't just about mirrors, but mental awareness. Drivers are trained to look for other cars, not bikes. That means you could be riding perfectly between the lines, but if you're in that invisible pocket, which is usually the space just behind the side mirrors, or beside a car's rear quarter panel, you're a sitting duck. And it gets worse in traffic. You might think you're safe, but unless the driver has actively acknowledged you with a glance, a mirror check, or eye contact, you might as well not exist. That's why experienced riders developed what some call mirror radar. They scan a driver's mirror behavior. Are they checking their mirrors often? Are their eyes flicking back and forth? If not, back off. The rule: if they don't know you're there, you're not there. Never linger in the invisible zone. Either drop back or move ahead. Make yourself seen, or be ready to vanish in a flash. 14. The pre-ride knock test. Here's one that's weirdly old school, but surprisingly effective, especially if you ride daily and don't always carry a pressure gauge. Before hopping on your bike, give both tires a quick knock with your fist or the toe of your boot. Not a stomp, not a punch, just a firm tap. Listen to the sound it makes. A properly inflated tire gives a sharp, echoey thump. A flat or low-pressure tire? That sound goes dull. It's soft, almost like knocking on a padded wall. Why does this matter? Because a slow leak can happen overnight. And if you don't catch it, your first corner of the day could send you skidding across the road. And here's the kicker. You might not feel it when rolling slowly out of your driveway. It's only when you lean or hit higher speeds that the instability reveals itself. And by then, it's too late. The knock test isn't a replacement for proper pressure checks, but it's a street-smart move that takes 5 seconds and can save you from wrecking your day. It's the kind of thing old-school riders do automatically, and the kind of thing newer riders need to start doing now. 13. The engine kill trick. Sometimes, riding isn't just about the road. It's about reading people. Every biker has at some point picked up on that eerie feeling. Someone's following a little too closely, matching your turns, hanging back just far enough to stay suspicious. If that happens, here's the trick no one teaches you. Flip your kill switch at a stoplight. To the world, it looks like your bike just stalled out. You fiddle with the starter, you pretend to be frustrated, and while you're stuck, most hailers will either pull around or give up entirely. It's a subtle move, but it disrupts their rhythm. Whether it's someone with road rage or just a sketchy tailgater, the last thing they want is to get stuck behind a broken down motorcycle. Once they're gone, you flip the switch back on and ride off like nothing happened. It's not paranoia, it's preparation. In rare cases, this trick has helped riders avoid assaults, theft setups, or worse. You don't need to use it often, but when your gut says something's off, the kill switch can buy you some time, space, and a clean exit. 12. The flash once rule. Blasting your high beams to pass someone is how you start problems, not solve them. But one quick, subtle flash, that's the language of the road most people never learn to speak. In motorcycle circles, it's called the flash once rule. It's not aggressive. It's not annoying. It's just a light tap on the high beam, timed right as you approach the vehicle ahead. Think of it like tapping someone gently on the shoulder before walking past. Heads up, not a shove. Most experienced drivers, especially truckers and long-distance haulers, recognize the move. It's a universal cue that says, "I'm here and I'm going around. Don't make any sudden moves." It works especially well at night or on highways where mirrors don't always tell the full story. It's also a pro move when riding in a group. Flashing once to warn of hazards up ahead, animals on the road, or even police speed traps. One flash means eyes up. Multiple flashes is for emergencies. Use the flash once rule correctly and you won't just pass safer, you'll ride smarter. 11. The loose gravel flip test. You're cruising on back roads, the wind's clean, and the ride feels perfect, until you hit that one patch of sketchy pavement, covered in gravel or fine sand. You don't see it, but your tires feel it. By then, you're already sliding. That's why seasoned riders rely on a little-known sensory trick called the flip test. Just crack your visor open slightly as you ride. Doesn't sound like much, right? But what you're doing is tuning in. Because when you're riding over asphalt, the sound is steady, a familiar hum or roll. But when you cross into loose gravel, the pitch shifts. It's subtle, like white noise turning gritty. You'll hear tiny pings as particles bounce off your tires or fairings. It's the sound of lost traction, and if you catch it fast enough, you've got a chance to react. Tap the rear brake, ease the throttle, and glide through. No sudden moves. That moment of awareness just from listening can be the difference between a sketchy ride and a low side crash. The flip test isn't about looking cool. It's about staying alive when the road turns unpredictable. Sometimes, your ears will warn you before your tires ever will. 10. The T-intersection lean. T-intersections are where mistakes get made, especially the ones where visibility is trash and the cross traffic is doing 50 plus. If you pull out too early, you're toast. Too late, and you're stuck mid-turn, vulnerable from both sides. Here's what veteran riders do. They lean before they commit. It's a technique that looks smooth, but it's actually built for split-second survival. As you approach a T, you preload your body and the bike slightly toward the direction you plan to turn, even if you're not going yet. Just a subtle lean and a light clutch pull. It's not about speed, it's about readiness. Why does it matter? Because when you lean first, your bike's already halfway through the turn before you even twist the throttle. That gives you a shorter turning radius and a faster line of escape if a car comes barreling out of nowhere. You're not waiting for the bike to react. It already has. This move is especially important at intersections with bushes, parked trucks, or other visual blocks. It's not about showing off technique. It's a setup for control, and control is everything when danger pops up with no warning. The T-intersection lean is like keeping one foot in the doorway, not all the way in, not all the way out, but ready to bolt when the coast is clear. Every second counts, and this trick earns you one. 9. The Rearview Reset. Most riders glance at their mirrors once or twice during a ride, and few actually use them like a tool. But here's what pros do. Every time they stop at a red light, they reset their rear view mindset. Before the light turns green, they rescan everything behind them. Vehicles, movement, brake lights, gaps in traffic. It's not paranoia, it's pattern reading. Because that guy who was 4 car lengths back when you stopped, he might be tailgating you in 5 seconds. Or worse, a distracted driver might be barreling in, texting, with no clue a motorcycle is in front of them. This rearview reset is critical in bad weather or at night when visibility drops and reaction time shrinks. Your mirrors aren't just tools for lane changes. They're windows into who's about to become your biggest threat. And here's a subtle trick. Tap your brake lever a couple times while stopped. That flash of light grabs attention. It's not dramatic, but it wakes up the half-asleep driver behind you. Treat every red light like the start of a chess match. Look back, reset, reposition if you have to, and always have an escape route in your head. That 5-second habit can literally be the thing that keeps your bike upright and your spine intact. 8. The 2-finger rule. Most people think riding is all throttle and fun, but real riders know that it's all about control and restraint. This is where the 2-finger rule comes in. Only cover your front brake with your index and middle fingers. No more, no less. Using 2 fingers keeps your grip on the throttle while giving you full braking capability in a flash. More importantly, it prevents you from panic grabbing the brake and locking the front wheel, which is how most low-speed crashes happen. Here's why it matters. In a tense situation, say a car swerves into your lane, your body reacts faster than your brain. If your whole hand flies to the brake lever, odds are you're clamping down too hard, too fast. But with just 2 fingers on the lever, you create a buffer, a moment of finesse instead of force. Over time, this becomes second nature. You're not squeezing, you're modulating. You're feathering control into your ride, and when every millisecond matters, that difference is everything. Pros don't brake harder, they brake smarter. And it all starts with 2 fingers. 7. The gas station safety buffer. This one doesn't sound like much until the day it saves your life. Ever notice how some riders never park at the pumps like cars do? That's not laziness, that's tactical positioning. When pulling into a gas station, especially late at night or in sketchy neighborhoods, experienced riders never box themselves in. They stop with the front wheel pointed toward the exit, engine running, visor down, and keep their eyes on everyone. Because if something goes sideways, let's say a robbery, fight, or random freakout, you don't have doors to slam or locks to click. Your only protection is movement. And if your bike's trapped between pumps or blocked by cars, your chances of escape drop to 0. That's why the safety buffer rule exists. Leave room in front of you. Don't kill the engine unless you have to. And when possible, park at an angle that gives you 2 exits, one forward, one to the side. It's not drama, it's design. Because in those rare moments when things go bad fast, the rider who planned ahead isn't frozen, they're already gone. 6. You can refuse when other people ask to ride your bike. There's this weird unspoken pressure some riders feel, like you're supposed to let friends, coworkers, or even family members just take it around the block. But here's the truth, you don't know anyone that ride. Motorcycles aren't toys, they're machines of muscle, balance, and risk. Letting someone ride your bike isn't like letting them borrow your car. If they drop it, get hurt, or worse, that's on you. Legally, financially, even emotionally. And here's what most people don't realize. 80% of dropped bikes happen at low speed or while stopped. Not because someone was ripping through the highway, but because they didn't know how heavy a clutch was, how sensitive the throttle felt, or how tall the seat really sat. So if someone asks and your gut says, nah, say no. You don't need a long excuse. Just hit them with, sorry, I don't let anyone ride it. No apologies, no debate. Real riders will understand. The rest? They're not ready anyway. Being the cool guy isn't worth the repair bill, the guilt trip, or the hospital visit. Protect your ride. Protect your peace. And remember, a real friend won't make you explain why. 5. When stopped in traffic, do not pull up to the bumper of the car in front of you. It's tempting. You're sitting in bumper-to-bumper traffic, creeping forward, watching the heat rise off the exhaust in front of you. So you edge closer and closer until you're right behind the car's bumper. That's a mistake you only make once, because if a distracted driver plows into the back of you, even at 20 miles per hour, your bike gets launched into the car ahead. Now you're the metal sandwich filling between 2 2-ton vehicles. No room to swerve, no time to react. That's why experienced riders always leave a gap. 1 bike length, maybe more, enough to escape. And here's the pro-level move. While you wait, keep your bike in gear and angle your handlebar slightly toward the shoulder or lane split. That way, if things get sketchy, you're not stuck behind a bumper. You're gone in 1 second flat. This is a survival tactic. It's about always leaving yourself a door, even when you're boxed in. Because in traffic, the most dangerous thing isn't speed. It's being still without an out. 4. Don't always trust your fuel gauge. You've got a full dash, maybe even a digital display that shows miles remaining. But here's the cold truth. Motorcycle fuel gauges lie. And if you trust them blindly, they'll leave you stranded. Most bikes, even new ones, have fuel sensors that are wildly inaccurate. Sometimes, they drop from full to half in 5 miles, then sit at E for 30 minutes. Other times, they'll say you've got a quarter tank, and then your bike randomly shuts off. And if you're on an older model, good luck. Some don't even have a proper gauge, just a reserve switch or a low fuel light that comes on way too late. That's why seasoned riders do something different. They track miles, not just gauges. They know their tank range, maybe 120 miles, maybe 180, and reset their trip odometer every fill-up. It's not about being paranoid, it's about being realistic, because pushing your bike to the next gas station with traffic blowing by is pretty embarrassing. Know your range. reset your trip. And when the gauge says you're good, but your gut says otherwise, trust your gut. 3. The look twice, save a life rule applies to you too. You've seen the bumper stickers. Look twice, save a life. Motorcycles are everywhere. And it's true. Drivers miss us all the time. But here's what no one tells you. That rule cuts both ways. As riders, we're smaller, faster, more agile, and that makes us just as likely to misjudge or overlook something. A cyclist in your blind spot, a car without its headlights, a pedestrian darting out between traffic. Riding sharp means you look twice too. Before switching lanes, before twisting that throttle, before driving into that intersection. Because sometimes the thing that blindsides you isn't a distracted driver, it's your own confidence. You get in the zone, your instincts take over, and suddenly, one glance feels like enough. It's not. Every mirror check, every head turn, every pause before you pull out of a driveway. That's how you spot the invisible threats. The threats that take down even the best riders. So yes, demand that riders look twice. But hold yourself to that same standard. Because when both sides are scanning, reacting, and thinking ahead, that's when lives are actually saved. 2. Lane positioning isn't about looking cool. Some riders hug the center of a lane like it's a racetrack. Others drift left, chasing that pro lean angle. But smart riders, they treat lane position like chess. It's strategy, not style. Because where you sit in your lane changes everything. Visibility, traction, and survival. In city traffic, staying in the left third of your lane can make you more visible in a driver's mirror. On curvy roads, hugging the outside gives you a better view through blind corners. On freeways, the center lane can be a death trap full of oil slicks from years of leaking cars. But here's where it gets real. Lane positioning lets you control the narrative. You're not reacting to traffic, you're influencing it. Making drivers see you sooner, making them hesitate before merging, giving yourself space to swerve or brake. And that's the secret. You don't pick a position and stick to it. You adjust constantly. Shift left before a left turn. Drift right near trucks. Slide to center when filtering at a light. It's not about looking smooth. It's about staying alive. Coolness is a bonus. Position is protection. 1. Your helmet has a shelf life. You bought a premium helmet. It feels solid and still looks brand new. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Even the best helmets have an expiration date. 5 years is the average shelf life of a helmet, even if it's never been dropped. Why? Because the materials inside, the foam liner, the impact-absorbing structure, degrade over time. Sun, sweat, heat, and air break it down slowly until one day, it doesn't protect like it used to. And if you've dropped it, or worse, crashed with it, game over. The structural integrity may be compromised, even if it looks fine from the outside. The scary part? You won't notice it. The helmet won't crack open or show many visible signs. It'll just quietly fail when you need it most. That's why serious riders keep track of their gear's age like they track oil changes, date of purchase, date of impact. Because your helmet isn't just part of your look. It's the last line between your brain and the pavement. And when it's time to retire it, don't hesitate. No ride is worth gambling with your life. While no one will teach you these rules while you're learning how to ride, they're important in helping you protect yourself and others on the road. Did we miss out on any other rule? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, hit like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for more motorcycle videos.